Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video, I'm going to show you a really cool chess puzzle where it is white to play and win in 50 moves. So this is part of my Stranger Kings playlist, which is a playlist dedicated to crazy puzzles that involve really cool king maneuvers, and this is one of them. If you'd like to pause the video and see if you can track down the mate in 50, give it a shot. It's not as hard as it sounds. Okay, before I show the solution, let me just quickly encourage you to subscribe if you have not yet already. Half of the income that I earn on this channel goes directly to charity, so a simple subscription that's free to you is helpful to people all over the world. Okay, let's get started here. So the first idea is probably pretty clear. You want to go after this pawn, right? There's not really anything else to do. So I can play King E1, right? Run after this pawn. And if you're black, you have two options. You can teeter your king back and forth, knowing you're going to lose this pawn, or you can try to push this pawn forward. It will eventually get lost either way. So for the sake of the example, we're going to continue to teeter the king back and forth between b8 and a7. Black's strategy here is to just hold everything because white, theoretically in their mind, will not be able to get in. So let's try it. So king d1, the king just goes back and forth, right? A lot of back and forth. Now white wants to take this pawn, but white does not want to stalemate black. So after a move like king a7, I take a5, they go back to b8. I don't want to play king a6 because that will be stalemate. So instead, I have to make a run back to these pawns. Now you might say, what is that going to accomplish? Because I can't get in, right? These squares are blocked off. This pawn is blocking off. Let me do this. Make some colors here. These pawns are blocking off a lot of squares. So how am I actually going to invade? Well, look at the squares that are covered. Look at the squares that are not. This king has a nice path. Can run right around and go right into g4. Cool. So let's do it. King b4. The king just continues to go back and forth. Right? The black king, that is. So, okay, what's the point, though? Am I just going to take that pawn? I still won't be able to break in. Well, let's keep going. So after the king continues to make this journey, there's going to be an interesting move. This is taking a long time to run with the king. I apologize that I don't have Hikaru-style mouse speed, but let's see. Okay, after king a7, I now have the opportunity to take this pawn. Great, I take it. But black will say, that's fine, I'm just going to continue going back and forth because you still can't invade, right? You still can't get in. Okay, let's see about that. King goes back. Now, white wants to now return to the king side. Now, why is that? Well, if I just push this pawn, I would essentially lock the position up and I would never make progress. I would stalemate the black king. So instead, what I want to do is I want to forcefully stalemate black so that they have to move this pawn and create a weakness for themselves. That's the central idea. Great, so king a7, go back to f1, go a little faster here, see if I can channel my inner Andrew Tang maybe with his ultra bullet speed. If you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. Oops, mouse slip there, so I'm definitely not going to be him. All right, so now look what's happening here. I play something like king, I don't know, b6, b5, or a5, what am I saying? a5, b5. And then after this move, I make a waiting move. You go to b8. I play king a6. What am I doing? I am blocking you off now. I am stalemating the black king. What does that do? That forces this move. And now, white returns back on this nice long journey and returns back to these pawns. Okay, so let me continue these moves. Now, what's the point of grabbing this pawn? You might say, still, I grab this pawn, I still can't get my king in the game. Well, it's not about the king anymore, because after I have this pawn, captures, I can play king g4, and I'm ready to push this pawn up the board. Black just remains back and forth with the king. I play f4. If you take, or if you don't take, it doesn't really matter, because let's just say you don't take. Maybe you play king b8. I am going to take, and you're not stalemated because you can just run away. So I can play f takes e, and you're not going to be worrying about any stalemates, right? That would just be simple promotion. Okay, the line that I chose to examine was e takes f. If I can go back after f4, e takes f, king takes f. Now the whole point is I'm going to push this pawn up the board. So what do? You really can't do anything. There's no way to create a stalemate if you're black. So this is just mate in a couple of moves. And after this promotion, it's not stalemate, although it might look like it. You can play king a6, and this is checkmate on the 50th move. Isn't that absolutely amazing? If you liked it, let me know in the comments. I think it's so cool to see the way the king has to run all the way over just to take the pawn, to run all the way back, to then run all the way back, to then run all the way back. I just think that's so cool. It's such a strange pattern. Perhaps that's why it's part of the Stranger Kings playlist. If you enjoy that playlist, let me know. I want to make more videos, but I'm not so sure what the audience likes. But yeah, that is it for now. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe. All that stuff helps me out so much. Thank you. Bye.